This is a Louie Tee Network exclusive.
For those of you who don't know, I'm Louie Tee, host of the Louie Tee Network, and this is One Burning Question, a series that will take a look at all 32 teams in the National Football League and pose a question. Some teams will have micro questions where we look at the team in its current state and talk about what could potentially happen for them in this season, and some will take a macro approach where we kind of open up the lens a bit and take a step back and look at it from a wide view look and perspective and talk about where these franchises might be going in the future, not just this season, but moving forward. So I'll take a look at each and every single team, ask a burning question, answer that question, and move on to the next team. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy One Burning Question. Welcome to this In the Lab Room exclusive series, One Burning Question. I, of course, as always, am your host, Louie Tee. Thank you for joining me on this program. Today, we're talking about the Indianapolis Colts, and this is an organization that has been to hell and back this season. And I'm just going to jump right into their One Burning Question. Is wholesale changes forthcoming in the offseason for the Indianapolis Colts? That's a straightforward question. That's as straight as it gets. And I'm not going to sugarcoat you. I'm going to shoot straight with you with this team. There needs to be wholesale changes in the offseason. If Jed York is the worst CEO in the league, then Ryan Grigson is the worst general manager in the National Football League. Something has to be done in Indianapolis. I don't think Grigson needs to be back. And if Chuck Pagano isn't the answer, fine, do away with him as well. But Grigson definitely doesn't need to be back, and I think that there needs to be wholesale changes in the offseason. There needs to be a totally different structure on the way things are done in Indianapolis. Too much backbiting, too much infighting, too much finger pointing in Indianapolis for that to be a conducive winning situation and environment. They need to clean some things up. They have the quarterback that can take them where they want to go. But if they continue to run this organization the way that it's been run this season, they will run Andrew Luck. Not only this organization, but they will run Andrew Luck into the ground. They put him at risk this season on numerous occasions. They put him at risk numerous times throughout his career by not getting adequate protection up front for him on the offensive line. You blame Ryan Grigson for that. I don't think that necessarily they've given him enough help at all of the positions, not just on offense, but defense as well. He's had to carry this team at times. This defense is putrid. They don't stop the run well enough. They don't get consistent pressure on the quarterback. I love the secondary, but they don't have help. And so they haven't done enough, to me, to supplement what Andrew Luck brings to the table. And at times, I think he's pressing, trying to will this team to victory because of the situation the front office has put him in. He's running for his life consistently. They're not a team that runs the football that impressively. They continuously go out and go get Ahmad Bradshaw every year because the running back position is so inconsistent and banged up. They don't do a good enough job of getting talented football players there. And so Andrew Luck has been put in compromising positions and situations throughout his career. He got hurt this season. And again, I just don't like the environment there that they have fostered in Indianapolis, and they really need to hit the reset button there and take a look at what's going on, because this should be their division. There should not be a discussion about who the alpha male is in the AFC South. This is a down division, and this is supposed to be the team holding it up. This is supposed to be the team that's sweeping this division, that's winning 10 or 11 games, looking down at the rest of the division and saying, hey, you guys have a long way to catch up to get to me and where I am in this division. Instead, they've come down to the rest of this division, have given every other team in this division hope that they too can win the AFC South. and this team is not where they're supposed to be. I had this team winning 11 games and potentially vying for a number 1 seed in the AFC playoffs. Instead, this team is scratching and clawing at 6-7, barely fighting for their AFC South championship lives. They have a big game at home in week 15 versus the Houston Texans, in which Matthew Hasselbeck may play. He may play because Andrew Luck is not playing. And if he can't play, you're in serious trouble at the quarterback position. It's really bad in Indianapolis, and I think a lot of the finger pointing and the blame needs to squarely be put on the shoulders of one Ryan Grigson. And again, if you want to blame Chuck Pagano as well, go ahead. He's not innocent in all of this. Everyone, including Jim Irsay, has to take some share in some of the blame in Indianapolis for the downfall of this football team. But if you ask me, the biggest culprit in Indianapolis is Ryan Grigson, and he must go. There needs to be wholesale changes. They need to revamp this roster. They need to start valuing their draft picks. The minute he traded a first-round selection for Trent Richardson was the minute he needed to go in Indianapolis. He has done a terrible job, a woeful job in Indianapolis in the draft. And it's really starting to show, as they don't have a lot of depth on this roster. They've done an equally bad job in free agency. Last offseason was the tip of the iceberg as far as free agency is concerned. The year before that wasn't much better. They've struggled in free agency. They've struggled in the draft. And all of that can be traced back to one man, GM Ryan Grigson. I'll read the question one final time. Is wholesale changes forthcoming in the offseason? I sure hope so. I really do, because this team is supposed to be better. I don't want to see Andrew Luck the rest of the season. They look like they're trying to rush him back, which would be a monumental mistake. You have to think of your long-term future if you're the Indians. You're not going to win anything this season. Rushing Andrew Luck back for what? So you can get mopped up in the first round of the playoffs? What are you doing? Let Andrew Luck fully heal, make the changes necessary, make this a much better environment for this team to win in 2016, and come back with your gun fully loaded and guns a-blazing then. But until then, until the offseason happens and the changes happen that need to in Indianapolis, this is going to be a sideshow in Indianapolis with the Colts. That's their one burning question. For the Indianapolis Colts, I'm Louie Tee. See you next time.